Philadelphia. I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show.
Light the lamp! Light the lamp! You see it? There it is. There it is, baby. Say goodbye to the Penguins. Wow, that was a great, fun game last night. It really was. That's the enjoyable part of a rebuild, is a game like that against a team you hate, where you see Mitchkov, who was ridiculous. He had 6 shots in the first, period and a half. Everybody, Cates. I mean, it was just an incredible game last night. A lot of fun last night. A lot of energy when you get to beat your rival like that. Welcome. This is the Anthony Gargano Show. We're presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. TrueMark.com/PHLY for the credit union difference. It was just a fun game, man. It was just great hockey. And the way is interesting because you lose Frost and Farabee, and you're like, all right, well, let's see what the rest of the crew has to offer, right? And Ristolainen actually played really well. Saved the goal, scored early. But they looked great. They're buzzing. This youthful energy is the stark difference from the Sixers. We talk about this all the time, about the state of your franchise. And there's only a couple palatable states. The Eagles champions, the ultimate state of grace, right? The ultimate state is to be a champion. Phillies, contender, championship ready, been in the World Series, been in the playoffs, going into this year, again, the bar is World Series. That's it. So, and in these moments of those two teams, you got to savor, right? Because to be a true title contender is a gift, right? Then you got a shot. That's why I'm a little annoyed by the lack of Phillies. I've had this conversation with a half dozen people now about the Phillies, and there's no buzz about them. Spring training, blah, blah, opening day, and I guess it'll come, but there's just a malaise, well, let's see what happens in October. Well, I mean, how often do you have a team like this that's a World Series type of team, right? That's a championship contender. I know they fell short last year. All right, well, let's go. Let's go back at it. They're good. And then you have the Flyers, which is the rebuild, and you got some good young players. They're stockpiling assets. It's going to get fun around here. And then you get the Sixers. Then you have the team that was the original rebuild team that almost got to the point of championship contender. They were teetering around the brink of championship contender, right? They could have easily won it the year that Kawhi was with Toronto and the Doinks. That was really as close as they got. And then it was just one after the other. Things start to unravel. And now they're just in this mess. And this is the worst place to be because you're approaching purgatory. And that's horrible. And soon you're going to have no chance with the way the contracts are. So you got to get this pick. It's imperative. But the Flyers last night, a lot of spunk, a lot of fun. They're fun to watch. Games faster. The way they played, what I like about them and what I enjoy is that they play with speed and skill and they attack. They were in attack mode last night. They had the Penguins on their heels. That attack mode, that used to be only Western Conference hockey. Now they're just watching Mitchkov is just the greatest thing in the world. So we'll get to that today. Busy show for you. We got Zach Berman from the Combine in Indianapolis. Z Berm coming up in about 5 minutes. Then the Brain. And then Ruben Amaro, talk fightings. And then I love this kid, all right? local treasure, Kyle McCord, Ohio State, Syracuse, and now in the NFL draft, he's a riser too. Originally, they were talking about somewhere around maybe 4th round. I think he goes higher, and there's a lot of heat on him. He throws a great ball. He's a terrific quarterback. St. Joe's Prep, Mount Laurel, local kid all the way, Birds fan. Like, he's a great kid, man. I'm rooting for this kid hard. So he's going to join us. He's at the Combine. He begins his busy schedule at the Combine. So we're going to follow along with Kyle during his journey through the NFL draft. Really looking forward to that. Good morning, VG.
What's up, buddy?
You're all fired up. I like
how can you not be after that,
Oh,
man?
did you get that in the hamper?
No, man. Maybe. I think I got it out of Joey's dad's bag. I found it.
Nice and wrinkly.
Come on, man. You can't see it on this. You're just selling me out. You can't see it. These
Oh, you're
lights.
right. It looks
nice.
On the screen, it looks pristine.
Yeah, it's got a little distressed look to it.
I like it. I like the shirt. I love the distressed look. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. I got to get some more gear, though. I mean, this is pretty. I got one other hat. I need some more
That's
stuff.
a good hat.
Yeah, I want an all-black one. I like those jerseys last night.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're fun. I was at the bar. Everyone's watching the Flyers last night.
What?
Having a good time.
Really?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, because you go to the bar every night. You're like Cliff.
One of my spots is Good Dog, notorious for New York Zach, who's a diehard Rangers fan. And
The New York Zach.
yeah, he's a good sports guy. Giving Flyers props last night. We had a fun time watching the game. People were glued to it.
So people were into it.
Yeah, and goals just kept coming and coming.
Oh, it was the best.
Yeah.
It was the greatest. Like they now put up 6 against Edmonton.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then 6 last night against
And they got
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh again tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Another 6 spot.
I mean, Pittsburgh, I told you yesterday.
6.
I told you yesterday. I told you.
Number
you
of the
mighty
Beatles,
devil
Iron
man.
Maiden, yeah. 666. Let's do it.
I think Andrew, he's a devil worshiper, this dude.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
he's a Satanist.
Without a doubt, yes.
I am not a Satanist. I am a recovering Catholic.
Sure.
I'm just playing.
Dude, the anti-muckers and grinders. How many years did we have muckers and grinders?
Dude,
Muckers and dump and chase. Muckers and grinders.
I meant to look at this. I haven't seen how many shots he finished with.
It's 7.
7.
Yeah.
He had 6 in the
Get
first
fired.
period and a half.
So good. Yeah.
And like, I love the fact he was just fired away.
Oh, dude, one
I love that kid. That kid is the greatest. He's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Could one go in? I followed your advice. I had the parlay, I had the Flyers team total, I had the Flyers money line. I just needed a meets
I
count
told
goal.
you. I was all over the
You
Flyers.
were all
I told
over
you.
it. Yeah.
I knew that they would. Listen, I watched Pittsburgh leak goals over the weekend, and I'm going, the way the Flyers are playing, you watch, Flyers are going to, and Mitchkov has come back with the rest on fire, right? Like, he had a lot of jumps Saturday.
Yeah.
He's on fire.
Yeah, give some props of Bobby Brink.
Right on the
4 points.
Yeah.
That line was
No, they
blazing.
were buzzing. They were all like, they controlled that game. They played the game in the Pittsburgh zone the whole
And
night.
they played a disciplined game. I think they only had 2 penalties all night.
See, you know
Ton
what's
of
funny?
block shots.
You know what's interesting is that I love sports, right?
Mhm.
So I can enjoy a Tuesday night game. It doesn't matter that we know that they're not going to, this is not a big run or whatever. I just like the game. I like the fact that they're a young team. I can take a lot of enjoyment out of a game like that. Sometimes I think that is missing in sports, like with sports fans. Like, you just can't sit down and go watch a game.
Right.
Like that. Everything's got to be championship or bust.
Yes. They're the anti-Sixers right now. They're
Oh,
everything
yeah.
the Sixers are not.
Yeah, I know.
And it's great. You can see the horizon. You can see the future coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, let's go Knicks.
Yeah.
All right.
It's minus 10.5.
10.5?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the line.
Oh, God. Don't even get me started. All right. Let us go to Indianapolis. That's right. We're all there on the scene. There's no rest right? He's just at it. He's always at it. He's the great Zach Berman, all PHLY birds. Good morning, Zachariah.
Hey, good morning. Good talking to you guys. I'm here straight from Radio Row here at the Combine. So fresh off speaking to Abdul Carter, Philly's own.
Abdul
And
Carter.
yeah, spent a lot of time yesterday with Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, been meeting up with everyone I can here in Indianapolis. Got a lot going on, so pumped to be on the show. Got a lot to discuss with you.
Oh, I love it. So give us the big picture with Nick and Howie.
Yeah, I really think the big picture was Howie setting the stage for what's going to be a different offseason, as he framed it. An offseason that, look, they're going to lose key players. I don't think they're going to add too many guys. Howie spoke about the need for young players to kind of step up. He spoke about this layer cake, and you're losing a layer, and now it's like you have to fill it in from the bottom. So that's I think Howie was intentional in his messaging yesterday to prepare Eagles fans for how this offseason is going to look different than last year. It's going to look different than some of their off seasons in the past. They view this more as a maintenance offseason, maintaining their roster, but they recognize that they had, even what their projections were going into the year, they had players outperform those projections, obviously, and there's going to be players that they simply can't keep. So big picture, I think Howie was setting the stage there. Big picture from Nick. I thought,
real quick
oh, yeah.
let's jump into it right before we get to Nick.
Yep.
So obviously, Bond is the first of mine. So I'm expecting to lose Milton Williams, right? I'm expecting to lose Josh Sweat. Bond was the guy that I expected to work out a deal. What's your vibe there?
Yeah, I think you're right on it, Anthony. That's my guess, is their priority is going to keeping Vaughn for a few different reasons. First off, obviously he was an outstanding player. He was a defensive player of the year candidate, first team All-Pro, but he's not that. The Eagles don't have internal replacements at linebacker. You talk about young guys ascending. If they lose Milton Williams, you're going to see more Moro Ochema. If Mekhi Becton signs elsewhere, Tyler Steen steps up. If Josh Sweat signs elsewhere, J.L.X. Hunt takes on a bigger role. If Darius Slay leaves, which I imagine, they have young corners, they don't have that linebacker to step in for Zach Bond. Now, I don't know what Zach Bond's price is going to be, and I've talked to a lot of different people here, and they're wondering the same thing. What's that range? Because he's a hard player to have comps for. There's only 1 year of outstanding production. He's 28 years old. It's a different situation than some other top linebackers. That said, he's a top linebacker, right? So, if he's paid as a top 5 linebacker, it's 15 million plus. If he's paid as the top free agent linebacker last year for Queen, you're looking more in the 13 million range. Obviously the cap goes up, so prices go up, but he's a hard player to have a comp for. That said, as you pointed out, I think what you're hearing is absolutely correct. I think the Eagles are going to try to keep on, as Howie said they're going to make a concerted effort to do that. And I don't think Howie would say that unless that is the case.
I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense, right? Because he's so valuable in the middle of that defense, right? Like, it's so important. We talk about being strong up the middle all the time, right? Like in every sport, whether it's baseball, whether it's football, you need to be strong up the middle. Hockey, like you need that. And you have Carter, and then you have Bond, and you have Cooper, right? And the 3 levels, very important. And that's why it makes a lot of sense. Look, you got some young D-line. You could draft the draft is really strong in defensive line, right? Like, so I just think you need Bond because he's a leader on that thing. Fangio trusts him. And listen, if you're Zach Bond, I mean, this is your perfect fit. Like, you became a player in this scheme. I mean, guys will always chase a dollar, but if you're somewhat competitive, it's better for him to stay.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that there can be a number that works for both sides. Now, look, in Zach Baun's defense, this is his first and only time probably to get a
Yeah.
big payday, right?
Agreed.
I mean, he wasn't a heavily pursued free agent last year, at least financially speaking. If he signs a 3-year deal, he's not going to have another crack at the apple where he's at like this level, this age point. So I can see him trying to make the most. But as far as the situation, you are correct, and I think that could actually work into the Eagles' favor because that's one thing that teams are going to look at. Clubs are going to look at this and say, Vaughn didn't do this in New Orleans. It was a great situation with Vic Fangio. Are there certain conditions that must be in place? Maybe he's not scheme transcendent. Maybe he's not coordinator transcendent. So I am curious to see. Now, I was standing right over there in 2018 when Howie Roseman was saying they need to guard against sentimentality. I was standing right over there in 2023 when Howie said the same thing. And I asked Howie about this yesterday, and he said your actions have to reflect your words there. And so I don't think he's going to be overly sentimental when it comes to keeping the players. But I think from a pure football perspective, it makes sense to keep Zach Baun. But I do think Howie's going to have a walk-away number.
Yeah, I can see it. Now, here's the other thing. It's a position that teams just don't spend on. Like you know, when you're building out your team, you're not going to use a huge cap resource toward that spot. You're just not. You rather develop your own middle linebacker. You rather develop your own interior backer like that. If he had flourished off the edge, that's one thing. As terrific of a season a player he is, there is a cap to what other teams are going to look for him.
You're correct. And you always hear that the open market dictates it. The highest paid linebacker in the league is Roquan Smith, who signed an extension with Baltimore. The highest paid free agent linebacker that there's ever been was Tremaine Edmonds. And he signed a 4-year, $71 million deal with the Bears in 2023, $50 million guaranteed. The difference there is Tremaine Edmonds was going into free agency at age 25. And he had at that point, 3-4 years of high level production. Zach Baun, like I said, age 28 season, one level of high level production. Maybe he doesn't warrant that. But as you guys well know, if you get to the open market and there's a team that has money and maybe they miss out on player X and they turn around and they say, we need to sign somebody. It takes one team giving a crazy offer. A few years ago, the Eagles were hoping to get Byron Jones in free agency. Miami comes in with a huge offer. The Eagles don't get Byron Jones. So it really takes one team to blow a guy out of the water, and then you're in a different situation.
So what about Becton? What are you hearing with Mekhi?
Yeah, I think Becton loved playing for the Eagles. The Eagles really liked the way Becton played. Obviously, that's a similar situation that you talked about with Baun, where the situation with Jeff Stoutland was so good for him. Speaking to Becton at the end of the year, he likes playing guard. He would like playing guard going forward. But look, the Eagles are going to try to keep Cam, or they're going to try to extend Cam Jurgens as soon as they can. They're already paying 3 other guys on the line. Can you pay 5 offensive linemen, top dollar or $10+ million? It really depends what Becton's market is, if he's willing to take a discount. My guess is Becton will play elsewhere next year because the Eagles have Tyler Steen. But if Ben says, I like Philadelphia so much, I like playing for Stoutland, I'll come back at an agreeable number. Or if the Eagles maybe project him as a long-term right tackle, that could change it. But I think when the Eagles talk about making difficult decisions this offseason, among those difficult decisions is letting go of key starters. And so you're talking Becton, you're talking Milton Williams, you're talking Josh Sweat, you're talking Darius Slay, you might be talking Dallas Goedert, right? And Howie said yesterday, I thought Howie had a good line that probably isn't getting as much attention, which is like the fans in the stands aren't going to have to change their jerseys, right? They're not getting rid of their core players here. But I think a lot of, a few of these starters who are hitting the market.
That's a great line. Great line.
Yeah. But a few of these starters who are hitting the market, I think we'll be playing elsewhere. And I think Mekhi Becton's one of them. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, my only thing with Becton is if you're Mekhi, man, do you want to get pushed back out to tackle when you're a road grader, right? You're playing next to Lane, man. He stayed healthy, right? For the most part,
You're right.
you know,
You're right.
it's a good spot, something to think about if you're him. Yeah, I get it. That's
And-
why it made me laugh.
yeah.
Like all the people talking about Myles Garrett. I'm like, no, they're not. They don't have any kind of money for that.
Yeah, I asked Howie, the way I asked it was when you traded your first round pick before for a veteran player. So you look at Jason Peters, look at AJ Brown. They tried getting Jalen Ramsey at one point where there's certain parameters that had to be in place, whether it's age, whether it's cap, whether it's your trajectory as a team. And yeah, he agreed with that premise. And he says there's guys who they're talking, this wasn't about Miles specifically, but Howie's a smart guy. He knows the basis of the question. There's guys behind the scenes that they would love to get. He says he doesn't know if this year's the year. Now, that said, I'm not ruling out a Myles Garrett trade for this reason. Myles Garrett can dictate his market. Myles Garrett can say, I'm only going to sign an extension with team X, Y, and Z, and it kind of limits the options. And then you have some leverage in that spot. But I came in here thinking the Eagles be real player for Myles Garrett. I'm going to leave here maybe thinking that's less of a likelihood.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Listen, you never rule anything out with Howie because he's great at star hunting. But
exactly, well said. Yep.
But this one, I just don't know. Unless he looks at the deal and he goes, this is a win deal. Like you got to win the deal. Otherwise, he'll walk away. That's kind of my guess. That's my read.
And I think you're right, Anthony. And I think, too, I don't think it's as much the trade compensation as it is, what it will take to pay him, right? Because something else Howie said, and I think this is something Eagles fans should keep in mind, is that their moves this offseason have to have the 26 and 27 off seasons in mind. So what does that mean? Jalen Carter is eligible for a contract extension next offseason. Nolan Smith is eligible for a contract extension next offseason. You go beyond that. I know this is crazy to even think about. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, they're eligible for contract extensions in 27. When you look at what your books are going to be, in Howie's office, he has these long-term projections, right? Like what's this going to look like in 25? What's this going to look like in 26? What's this going to look like in 27? And I think that's something they're going to keep in mind with some of the big money that might go out this offseason.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make is that it seems like they're trying to tell us to temper expectations because they have Cam Jurgens and Nakobe Dean up for extensions. There's a lot of money they're going to have to spend in-house.
Yeah. Which is, listen, that's a product of drafting well, right? Like that's what that's about, which is huge.
And I think, look, I understand that it can be interpreted a lot of different ways, but I actually think it makes sense for Howie to get ahead of this because, there's a sentiment among the fans that every offseason is Howie season and that he's going to make this splash and that splash. And Howie said last year they looked at free agency and they said that was their chance to add. They kind of looked ahead of what this free agency year was going to be. And they thought last year they could get free agents who could have that kind of material effect on the team. And they viewed this year as more of the maintenance year. And so I don't blame Howie for getting ahead of that because I think it's constructive for Eagles fans to know that going into March that when we have our free agency shows on PHLY, we might be talking more about players leaving than players coming, and the players who are coming might be your 1 year, $1.5 million lottery ticket guys who you sign 2 or 3 of them, and maybe one of them turns into a contributing player.
Yeah, no, I feel you. All right, let's tackle Nick. So Nick's on top of the world. Private jets. It's like Entourage. Jetting to the win in Vegas with Big Dom.
Yeah. Was Nick on that trip?
Yeah.
I know Dom was okay. Yeah. All right. Good.
I'll send you the
Dom
photo.
Was out there. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Good for him, man. He earned that. I've talked to a few different people out here who that's their sentiment. Like, what are you guys gonna say about Nick now? And I'm like, yeah, you win a ring, and you earn it. The big thing with Nick is this coaching staff, and the Patuo hire. Nick said they did an extensive search, right? They're required to interview at least 2 external candidates by league rules with the Rooney Rule. I don't know who they did. Look, I've tried doing work on it. I've tried figuring it out. They're keeping this close to the vest. If I'm being honest, I think this was a search with an end goal in mind, and that end goal was to hire Patullo. I do believe they spoke to other candidates. They had to, but the goal was to hire Patullo. Nick was effusive as you would imagine in his praise of Patullo and Patullo being ready for this job. Kevin Patullo is going to call plays. But a big point from Nick, and I think this is something Eagles fans need to keep in mind, is I asked Nick, by your own admission, the offense got stale 22-23. How do you guard against that? And he said that the big emphasis with his coaches this offseason is to go out there and evolve, learn different concepts. I think in 23, they really said, we're going to try to master what we do, right? This year, they want the continuity, but they want to build on it. Their staff is not complete yet. They still need that at quarterbacks coach. They're bringing in Parks Frazier as a passing game coordinator. He was with Mike McDaniel last year in Miami. One thing Nick said was interesting. How many times this year he was watching like the Rams or the Packers, and he said that concept's interesting. That's something we look at. How in these coaching interviews that he did, he heard things that came up and said, this is something we should explore. So I think that there's going to be an emphasis from Nick with that offensive coaching staff, not to get stale, to introduce different concepts. They want the continuity for Jalen's sake, for the receiver's sake, the O-line's sake. But I don't think it's just going to be the offense that you saw last year.
Well, all right. I'm thrilled you said that, because from 22 to 23,
yeah,
that was it. And again, it was RPO. It was just RPO. And teams figured it out. I mean, let's face it. Like, that was part of the issue in the Great Fall, the slide, is that they were able to figure out their weaknesses. And then you saw a completely different kind of approach with Barkley in the downhill run game, which really worked.
Yeah.
And then when teams started to try to take away Saquon, they were able to go back at him, and you're able to counter, which was huge. I love the fact that he wants to be creative, wants to be different. I would look. I mean, honestly, did you talk to him about, when you have success like this, you're going to always lose your offensive guys. Like you mentioned, Nussmeier losing your quarterbacks coach, right? Beyond just Kellen Moore, you're going to lose your offensive guys. What's he doing to make sure his network is there, right? Like,
good point. Yeah.
Like Doug's failure was he didn't have any network. He didn't know anybody, right? Like, you got to be on top of it. Like, one of the things that I would suggest is you start looking around all college programs, especially the lower college programs, and looking at what they do offensively. I would have I would get reports, I would get film on all the college guys out there, all the offenses, and see where they're at, right? And see what I like. Yeah. And then go see them. I would go on the road. I would take a couple weeks, right, in May, and I would go sit with these people.
That's a good point. And it's something that he referenced, not specifically, but as part of an answer where, so he was talking about how, his brother, who's a college coach at the D2 level, was speaking at a coaching clinic this past weekend. They were talking about the coaching clinic, and he said, in the NFL, you don't really get to do these coaching clinics, and that's something he viewed the interviews as almost like a coaching clinic, and he wants his coaches to be out there looking at these concepts. And I can editorialize here and say, as I do draft prep, to your point, Anthony, when you're watching some of these college offenses, you're like, oh, I like that, and as the Eagles are, as Nick and these offensive staff, as they're doing their draft work and they see stuff come up on film, they should jot that down. They should call that college coach, and they should explore that, because it's kind of counterintuitive, but it seems the ideas in football tend to funnel up as opposed to funnel down. You think about professional football and you're like, this is the pinnacle of the sport. But typically what you see is the ideas go from the high school level to the small college level to the major college level to the NFL as opposed to funneling down.
Well, yeah, you have to, because you're at that level. It's always about the moment, that team, what you're doing. Like you can't really experiment. You could experiment at lower levels, right?
Yes, good point.
At the elite level, you got to win. There's an air of conservativeness that you need. So you can't just be like, let me try that. In college, you could try it. You could do certain things.
You're absolutely right. And so it is something that Nick's going to be looking at this offseason.
Did he, do you know who he interviewed besides Petullo?
I don't.
I was wondering if he actually talked to Leftwich. I was just curious.
I've been asking around, and that's not something that I've been able to get so far. I'm going to keep asking, but they've particularly wanted to keep that closer to the vest. And frankly, I would
Listen, I get it.
I think it would behoove them though, right? Like I think it would be in their benefit to have those names out there to show that this isn't a sham search, for lack of a better term, right? But to show that this wasn't a search that was just done to kind of satisfy rules, and that it was always about Petullo. But one thing Nick did say that was accurate is you talk to these coaches, and maybe it's not for the job that's on the line now, but maybe it's for a hire they have next year, and you just build that relationship right now. So he did point that out. Yeah,
no, and listen, I don't have an issue. I think he should be able to go Petullo, right? Like all along, like you identify a guy on your staff, right? And people go, "Wow, he's a first-time play caller." You always have to have a first time. Like somebody's got to get a chance, right? I mean, that's a real thing. Somebody gave McVay a chance. Somebody gave Shanahan a chance. Like all that stuff, you got to have a chance at that. And so I have no issues with identifying someone on your staff that you like that has a chance, right? Like, you took a shot with Brian Johnson. I get it. I mean, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Take another chance. That's what you do.
Yeah, Nick's pushback to that was that he thinks the narrative that there's this offensive coordinator who wears the crown, that's his term, and gets kind of all the credit and all the blame. He doesn't. He says that's not the way football works. He said Petullo is on the headset, is putting these game plans together with Kellen Moore last year, with Brian Johnson, with Shane Steichen. Like Kevin's been involved in all of that, and Nick was right about this. He said you're at practice every day. Every time Kevin that Kevin walked out, who was he walking out with? He was walking out with Kellen Moore, right? Then even when I spoke to Kevin, he said he was like half offensive coordinator last year. So yeah, this is his first time with the finger on the button. There's no way around that. But it's not like it's not like me getting a call sheet of my son's flag football and trying to figure out what to do. Like this isn't foreign to him. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm with you. And I do think, again, I like the hire. Now I will say this: the OC is, they do wear a crown, right? They have a support staff, but they're wearing the crown. Like if you're calling the plays and you are Kingsbury, and you're working with a defensive head coach, you wear the crown. Ben Johnson, you're wearing a crown.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, we can, the Eagles and us, we can debate what's going to happen. You can't debate history. And the history is that the last three external offensive coordinators the Eagles have had went on to become head coaches. The last three external offensive coordinators, the last three internal offensive coordinators the Eagles had were fired.
Right.
And so it's just now it's hard to match success. You win the Super Bowl, you have success, you get hired somewhere else. It's hard to be the guy who follows the guy. You'd rather be the guy replacing the guy who replaced the guy. But that's going to be a big question for Kevin this offseason.
So just give us the big vibe around the league itself. Tush Push, right? The Packers. Like, what was the Eagles' response to all that stuff? Kind of off the record.
Well, yeah, I mean, I even think on the record, Nick, how strong he was. He was prepared for that, and he wanted to get that out there, that he's insulted by this idea that it's an automatic play. He talked about how much they practice it and how it's a hard play to practice, but how much they focus on the snap, how much they focus on kind of the execution with it. That this is it's not an automatic play. You saw that in the AFC playoffs, that this is not an automatic play. He spoke about how every week he watches every failed first and goal every failed first and goal to see what plays are run, right? And that sometimes you can hand the ball to the running back, he loses 2-3 yards. It's typically not a play where you lose yardage. He said that the notion that it's a play with a high injury rate, he doesn't think the numbers back that up. He said he'll defer to the league on that, but he thinks that's more of a narrative than something that the league backs up. He really pushed back on the idea that it's an automatic play, and it's something that, look, the Eagles have said certainly privately, but publicly as well, that like it's a play that anyone could do. They just do it better than anybody else.
Well, that's the point. Right? Like, that's the point. Listen, they may have the quarterback that can execute it because his legs are so powerful, right? But that's part of the strategy. Because Tyreek Hill is faster than any other D-back, that's illegal? Right? Like, it's stupid. And what are you going to do? You're going to get away if the running back gets 4 yards, gets stood up, and the rest of the O-line comes and pushes him for another 2-3 yards, which we see, 10 times a game. Is that illegal now? Like, it's ridiculous. It's football.
Yeah, 32 teams had a chance to draft Landon Dickerson. 32 teams had a chance to draft Jordan Mailata. You go on down the list. The Eagles, they coach it well. They rep it well. Obviously Jalen Hurts he's stronger than most quarterbacks. Nick says they don't pull. There is they execute the play within the rules. There's coaches here who've been outspoken that they don't want that to be legal. Raheem Morris. I was over there with Raheem Morris yesterday from the Falcons. He said for 3 years he's wanted this banned. The Packers were on the record saying they want this banned. This is a big topic.
Well, what's their
around
reasoning?
the league.
Like this is the thing. Why is
not a
it
football
not
play.
a football play?
Because the pushing and that it's in other plays you can't push and you can't pull. Now John Harbaugh said that this isn't enforced elsewhere in terms of not being not being able to push when a running back.
I just described the play where a running back, a receiver, tight end, whatever, gets pushed 3-4 yards for a first down. Yeah. How was that not?
Yeah. Now technically it's not something you're supposed to be able to do. But it's not a football play is kind of the argument against it. Look, I'm going to be down in Florida next month for the owners' meetings. That's when they'll vote on it with the competition committee. I think it would be a farce if this was passed, because look, it's something they execute well. They have the personnel to do it. I don't think it's problematic.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, I swear, I was trying to do some research yesterday. When I looked, I thought the NFL made pushing legal back in 2005. You can't pull, but you can push.
Yeah.
So you should be allowed to, right?
Yeah, I think you can't push when the play's been whistled. You can't technically, if progress is stopped, you can't push it there to try to get those 3 extra yards. But no, my understanding is you're correct that because actually when there's been proposals in the past, I think it was specifically to take out the pushing component of it.
I gotta say, Raheem Morris they all come off really weak and salty and just whiners. And Sean McDermott, he runs the play. They call it the snowplow. What is he doing? I'm bewildered. I'm amazed that this is such a big deal at these meetings.
I mean, they might have been in the Super Bowl if they had more success with that play.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, great work. What's on tap today?
Absolutely. So next up, I'm speaking to Jihad Campbell. I spoke today to Abdul Carter. You'll appreciate this.
I love the prospects. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah. I'm going to butcher the last name, Donovan Runzienzi. I can spell it. I can't say it. From Boston College.
Yeah.
16 and a half sacks this year.
Yeah.
Possibility for the Eagles in the first round. Really good edge rusher. He's from Williamstown.
Yeah.
And
I heard
he
of
was
him.
talking today. He was talking today about how many good players there are in this draft from Philly, from South Jersey. Jihad Campbell's one of them, right? He was at Timber Creek, and then he transferred to IMG. But you go down like Quinn Allen, he's from Millville. Kyle McCord went to the prep.
I got Kyle. In fact, Kyle's coming on today. I love Kyle.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So Kyle's coming on today.
Yeah.
He's in meetings right now, just so FYI, Andrew. He's in meetings. He's not sure that he'll be out by 10:30, but he's going to text us. So we'll figure it out one way or another. But I love Kyle. Kyle's rising, man. He's got a shot.
Yeah.
He's got a shot at the second round.
I mean, look, I went to Syracuse. I watched a lot of Kyle McCord this year. Second round might seem ambitious, but if you can play, quarterbacks tend to be overdrafted rather than underdrafted.
Well, that's the
You're
point.
Right.
He's right.
Yeah.
He throws a great ball. Like, he spins it, man. I love it. He spins it.
But Abdul Carter might be the number one pick. He was talking about
he's
he grew up this big Eagles fan.
Machine.
Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl with his dad. He said he was trying to enjoy his last year as an Eagles fan. He was talking about how Philly shaped him. So, talking to a few more prospects. Have a conference that I'm attending this afternoon, and then writing more stuff for allphly.com. Doing a show right here with Fran Duffy at 2:00 this afternoon.
Love it.
So we're loaded with content, and I could say I got some really good stuff coming up on allphly.com. Spoke to Nick and Howie separately about a few things that I'm going to put, from the Super Bowl that I'm going to get up there this week.
I love it. I'm so excited for it. Do me a favor. Get me the contacts for all the local kids, because we
got it.
I want to have them all on the show. All right. So
that's perfect. I'm going to do that for
kids, let me give me your contacts, because I got FOMO right now. I didn't have FOMO in New Orleans. I've been in there a million times, been in Super Bowls, but I got FOMO the combine, because I was supposed to go
next year right here.
Yeah,
next year right here. Right here.
We got it.
Right,
as soon as we get some more money in here, we'll expand our travel budget.
Hey, that's music to my ears. Let's do it.
Let's go, baby. Great stuff,
right,
brother.
thanks,
You're the
guys.
best, man. We love you.
You got it.
Thanks, Z-Berm. Z-Berm.
I think he's got a fashion consultant. His lighting was great behind him, looking all heavenly and majestic.
Talking about football.
That's what he takes away.
Talking about football, he comes away with the lighting.
We just have a 20-minute conversation that is just great football talk, and he's talking about fashion and lighting.
Yeah. So Zach always.
What's the frig with this guy?
Zach always
What
impresses.
is wrong with this guy?
Zach always impresses with that stuff, man. On point. You got to give props where props are due.
Let's give props to our partners.
Let's do it.
What's wrong with him? Fashion and lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Joey. You know what I mean?
Joey knows what's up.
I agree with him.
Yeah, see, Joey agrees with me.
I know where you're coming from.
Talking about Abdul Carter. And
Exactly. Andrew.
Lighting.
I got another one.
Go
I got Vinny
talk to
VG over here.
Go talk
I
to
got Vinny, the
Liverpool.
border.
Liverpool, Andrew. Go talk to Liverpool.
I need a sports guy. Who's the sports guy? My God. Let's talk about Golden Nugget Jewelers.
Mm-hmm.
Where Philly gets engaged. All right. Did you call your own yet? Because
I'm still hoping this damn gemstone pops up somewhere.
you haven't found
No,
your
we haven't
wife.
found it yet.
Your wife lost her. What is
Sapphire.
it? Sapphire.
Yeah.
And you still haven't found it?
No.
Well, you better get on. You better call your own speed dial. Baldy calls your own. I've sent thousands of guys to your own. My wife was just talking to him because Massimo's birthday is Saturday. And
Oh,
so
sweet. Is he getting a boot?
he's getting a dog tag,
Dog tag?
right? So my wife was in my jewelry box and found my old dog tag.
Like a military dog tag?
No, it's like a gold with your name on it.
Okay.
They call it. It was, in fact, back in the day, I don't know if it was just South Philly, but we had dog tags with the horn and the hand. And
I had the horn, I had the boot, and did not have a dog tag.
She found my boot. Mm-hmm. She found the dog tag.
You see that for that. The boot with the nice like red, green, and white gems.
It was like a gold thing. So the dog tag is it's like my name, like down the like diagonal.
Okay.
Written. So we're going to give that to Anthony. And so now Mosmo is going to get one, so we're going to get Mosmo.
Yeah.
So she's calling your own. I'm telling you, Golden Nugget Jewelers, for any gift ideas, they can do it all, right? So you got birthdays, you got anniversaries. You got to go to Golden Nugget Jewelers right in the corner of, right on 8th and Chestnut, in the heart of Jewelers Row. You can't get more jeweler than Golden Nugget Jewelers. GoldenNuggetJewelers.com. It's where Philly gets engaged. All right. Our next guest, of course, the Brain, brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. We had a good day yesterday, right?
Yeah, I hit a college hoops parlay.
Marquette
and
rolled,
Western Michigan.
And the Trash Man
came through.
And the Flyers.
Yeah.
All right.
Good
so
day.
It was a good day.
Yep.
The Brain, who'd the Brain have?
He had so many props.
The Brain had Toronto. I think that they played him close, didn't they?
I don't know.
Austin? I think I was a winner. Brain always wins. Brain just
wins way more than he loses. That's for sure.
That's why he does it for a living. He is, and so you could do what the Brain says. He's coming up in just a moment, and you can find him at where all the stuff. You could play it right on the app, and then all the fun stuff they have too. Where you can make your downtime fun time. In fact, new customers get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. You got online blackjack. I mean, you got the live dealer blackjack. Live dealer craps, live dealer roulette. He plays the baccarat, all the slots.
I had to go to dermatologist yesterday. I'm waiting in my gown, playing a little, what's it called? The Rocky slot.
Oh, yeah, you're playing the Rocky slot?
Yeah, well, I'm sitting there in a gown.
Downtime, fun time, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So you can do it. So download the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. You got to be 21. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Joining us now, like we tell you, the Brain.
Brain. Red, the Brain Finder.
The ambassador from the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Hello, Brain. Top of the morning to you.
Good morning to you, my friend. Anthony, always win long term. Don't win every night, though. No one can do that. But yesterday was 4-0. We went 3-0 in the props. And you're right, the Raptors did get under. Again, I thought it was a tick too high. They did cover against the Celtics. So yesterday was a good day, and you nailed your games. VG nailed his. So everyone, listen, everyone would have gone 6-0 yesterday.
7-0 because I love the Flyers. I said the Flyers would rout.
He did.
I said that they would score many goals. I said take their over team total, and that they're because I watched. Because I'm a loser, right? And I love to watch games. And to me,
of course,
you watch games, you pick up stuff, and I like the strategy. Like I football, I love it. Baseball, I love it. Basketball, I love it, and hockey, I love it. So I watch. So whatever's on, I'm going to watch. Whether it was Winnipeg, San Jose on Monday night, or whatever it is. And so you pick up little things. So I was watching Pittsburgh leak a lot of goals over the weekend, and you could see that they're just a dead team walking. Flyers got a lot of jump. They had a lot of Michkov, the young kids, energized. It was a perfect matchup.
Question for you, Anthony, because you do know it. I know how much you follow it. How far away are the Flyers, in your opinion, to making the playoffs?
They can make it next year. But as far as making a serious run where they get the big free agent, you're probably talking 2 years from being a real contender.
Okay. Do you think they're going to go after any potential? I mean, when do you think this is a year, this offseason is a year they'll go after aggressively, or you think they're 1 year away from waiting to make that move?
It all depends on who's out there. Listen, he's got cap space. That's why they traded Frost and Farabee, right? Like Jonesy and Danny are going to go. They'll be they have identified somebody that there's a handful of guys that they're going to go after.
They got a ton of assets. They have
Yeah.
so many draft picks this
They
year.
could trade. There's a lot that they could do. Brady could drop. Anyway,
Well, at least, look, Anthony, VJ, you guys, your favorite team in sports plays tonight. You guys excited?
let's go Knicks.
By the way, let me ask you a question. You guys see the line of that game tonight?
Is it 10 or 10.5?
10. Let me ask you a question. Like, I'm going to bet against the Sixers until I lose. I've made that determination. I think there's bad, there's brutally bad, and then there's them. I don't even, 4 minutes into the game, I think I'll be covering. I cannot tell you.
I feel you. I think you have to. I think you got to do it because here's the bottom line. They don't care, right? And there is the problem, right? Like, you're going to have Josh Hart going after every rebound, right?
The
You're going
effort
to have
factor.
Brunson going to, so at some point, they're going to be up. They'll take the first half, the first quarter, and right now this team doesn't care. It's got no soul.
Anthony, I need to see it. This reminds me, like, again, if you're playing blackjack or if you lost like 16 hands in a row, I'm not going to bet that 17th hand in a row against the dealer. I need to see this team do anything, and I mean anything. I mean, not only are they losing guys, they're losing to the worst teams in the league, and then they're losing by 50 points in games. And by the way, the Knicks come off a couple tough games. They played at Cleveland, got trounced, at Boston, got trounced. Now, because they have the one coach in the league that does give a crap about these games, that does care, that doesn't say to their fans, we don't care about you. They actually play their players and they play hard against a team, as you said, Anthony, that are they even trying? I don't even know how to.
Well, they play no defense. Here's what I would look at. Honestly, I would play the Knicks team total over, whatever that is.
It's 120.5.
I would play their team total over because what you've seen is a team that doesn't play any defense, that doesn't care about playing defense, a coach that has no clue about defense. All right, so I would take the Knicks team total over, in addition to the line, because they're going to leak points.
Anthony, again, it's funny. When I saw this line, I made this line 13. Now, I didn't think it would be 13. I thought it would be at least 11 and a
I made
half.
this line 24.
Yeah, well, no, because I
I
think people are not. They still see Philadelphia, and they still, in the back of their head, they can't quite say they're as bad as they are. They're starting to accept that this is really a bottom barrel team. And right now, to me, again, I cannot. There's nothing about this team that is good to me. I bet the Knicks. I'll give you another NBA game. 2 other NBA games I think have some value, guys. Rematch game. We just had a game the other night. I think it was 2 nights ago. Hawks playing the Heat. Look, Hawks just won that game. Hawks missing some of their best players to injury. In Miami, I think Miami gets the revenge here. Again, these teams are close. I thought this line should come closer to 4. I think Miami gets a split. They just lost a close game in Atlanta. Now playing in Miami. I think Miami laying a small number of 2.5 at home. I think they get it done. And one more in the NBA, guys. They're bad. But the Clippers are playing awful right now. They've lost I think 7 of 8 or something like that. They've been really
they're
bad.
bagged up.
The Bulls at home getting 9 points. I just think it's, again, I bet numbers, not teams. Do I think the Bulls are good? No. Do I think the Clippers won? Yes. But I think 9 is just a little bit too high for me to get my number around. I think it's too high, like the Bulls getting 9. And in college basketball, guys, Maryland played really well this year, guys. They've only lost, I think all their losses are on the road by 2
I like
or 3
Maryland.
points.
Yeah.
At home against a good Michigan State team, but I love taking these home teams in college basketball, laying
You know what's
small
funny?
numbers.
There's a lot of heat on Sparty, right? Sparty beat Michigan, right? Izzo. I saw a piece the other day. Izzo in the tournament. And I loved Izzo. I know him. When he first started the Flintstones, I was out in East Lansing, and I did a whole big story, and I love Tom. He's an ooper. Uper. It's an Upper Peninsula, Michigan guy.
Yeah.
He's one of those.
Not his fault he didn't coach at University of Michigan either. He can't help that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to Schembeckler. I forgot.
Schembeckler?
I forgot who I'm talking to.
No, he's terrific. I give him. No, I joke.
But I think they're a little overrated.
That makes sense.
Party. And Maryland's Maryland's good.
Yeah, I think this line's going to close at 4.5 at least, in my opinion. I laid 3.5 at home. Again, I love taking these college teams at home, laying small prices. I find my winning percentage in those is close to 60%. And that's one I like.
I got one for you that fits that criteria.
Talk to me.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. Little TU tonight.
Oh. Okay.
If they're ever due to win, all right, they have been on a bad roll.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
They've been getting, and they've been lost a lot of close games.
For sure.
Tonight, they win. They shoot the lights out and they win.
All right. I like it. All right.
That's my trash.
I like when we get these calls. I like that. I want to give you 2 props in the NBA have some value. Tyrese Halliburton, under 9.5 assists, 37 and 18 for the year. You say, what's he done in his last 20? 16 and 4 to the under, 9.5 a tick too high. And Grady Dick, Toronto Raptors, shoots the ball well, doesn't rebound the ball well, 35 and 16 to under, 4.5 rebounds.
There you go, Grady Dick.
I don't know how he finds this. I
I
wouldn't even know that guy's in the NBA.
Grady Dick. He's like a small forward, 2-guard who's horrible. All he does is shoot threes. He never goes into the paint. He's a hideous kind of player. I hate Grady Dick. I hate players like that.
Let me give you some trash, Brad.
Did you like the photo with him last? Was it last year? Who was he? Did that photo? Remember he did the jersey thing? I forget who it was.
No. You remember
that? Yeah. He was trying to put X-rated stuff out there, but anyway, But I'm always looking for these kind of bets. Listen, 98% of the time, I think they're priced properly. I got to try to find that 2% that are maybe off. This should be 3.5, not 4.5.
All right, trash man tonight. It's one that you like. You should like. UCF, Orlando, Florida, down there at home. Give him 4.5 to Kansas State. UCF rolls tonight. Central Florida tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, you took Central Florida. Actually, let me tell you something. VG, you were ahead of the move. The line's up to 5.5 now.
Oh, snap. Nice.
Even
more. There you go.
The trash man's ahead of the game.
Trash man knows his stuff. You gotta give him stuff the night before.
Exactly, man. 100%. 100%.
All right, my brother. Great work as always,
Appreciate
man.
you guys.
You're the man. The brain.
Good, guys. Thank you.
Brain. Let's talk about some of our friends. Yes, Rothman. Joint aching.
Yep.
Hands cramping.
Always.
Back out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
Rothman's got you at Rothman Orthopedics. Practicing specialized care has been their passion for over 50 years. Their mission, high quality, affordable, compassionate care that is rooted in research leading to new treatments and better outcomes. All right, each Rothman doctor is laser focused on their specialty. Hip, knee, spine, you name it. They have a team for each body part right in your backyard. So you can cross over that defense, drain those jumpers, root for our teams like no other fans in the country. They are Rothman Orthopedics, and they specialize in you. That's right, 50 years of specialized care in orthopedics and you. Delaware Valley, we have the finest doctors in the land. Visit RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today. All right, now let's talk about Parks Casino, Street Road, Bend, Salem. Pennsylvania's number one casino for sure.
Love it.
The award-winning Excite Center hosts incredible comedians and musical acts and boxing and MMA. You name it, they got it right there. And, make it a lot of good stuff, man. Fun times. And They have, by the way, the poker room, 3,200 hot slots, over 115 live table games. That sportsbook is ridiculous. All right? All the award-winning restaurants. And these acts you can get tickets for at parkscasino.com. March 7th, Scotty McCreery, American Idol.
Just give me 5 more minutes.
Magician Michael Carbonaro.
Hey, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
March 8th, March 22nd, country superstar Lee Bryce.
There's a rumor going around about me and you.
April 24th, live.
Lightning crashes and an old mother dies.
Who the best is? I watched Joey looking at Andrew. He's like,
They're crazy.
Like, what are these guys doing, man? May 16th, comedian Larry Cable Guy.
Gator'd in.
June 27th, comedian Trevor Wallace. Nothing?
I looked him up. I couldn't find much on him.
July 12th, comedian Mark Normand.
Yeah.
Nothing?
I mean, they seem like funny guys. Great resumes.
ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. This portion of the program brought to you by Rite Aid. RiteAid.com to find the store and pharmacy nearest you. You know what it is? Like, we're talking about combine and we're talking about hockey and hoops, college basketball. Oh, the boys are in Florida.
Dude, did you see Sanchez yesterday?
Yes!
Deal. 13 pitches, 13 strikes.
All right.
3 strikeouts.
It's spring training time.
Yeah.
It's baseball. All right?
Love it.
Baseball. And we get to visit with all of our old friends and renew for a whole new season. And one of them, one of the preeminent baseball men in America.
Super cool guy.
Yes, he is. The great Ruben Amaro. Rube, good morning.
Yeah.
What's happening, Anthony? How's it going, boys? What's happening?
You look great, buddy. Where you at?
I'm actually at home now. I just got back. I go back and forth because NBC Sports Philadelphia sort of breaks up the broadcasts. I had a couple of broadcasts. Well, scheduled for a couple of broadcasts. We had a rain out, sadly, in the last game. But in the last game, I was supposed to broadcast. But the boys are back and playing in Toronto and Dunedin today, and looks like they have pretty close to what might be one of their opening day lineups. Awesome.
I love this. Like, I have to be honest. I miss spring training. Like these games, it's the greatest time because you really just talk ball, right? Like everybody's talking ball, and there's so much. There's people are relaxed. Everybody's excited. They're not sick of each other, right? They're looking like, oh, let's go, man. There's something about spring training. Do you miss it from the executive and coach standpoint?
I miss it from the executive point, from the coaching point, from the players point.
Yeah.
I mean, spring training is nothing. There's hope. There's all this, newness to it, and obviously you can fantasize about what the season's going to be like, and the newness of getting back and getting into your cleats and doing all the things that you love to do. And there's nothing like being out in Clearwater, man. It is spectacular. And the weather, the whole atmosphere, the beach, the whole thing. The fan base has been phenomenal. Just a joy. The very first game that I broadcast down there against the Orioles was, packed house, man. There was 8,500 people there. Berman was all filled up. It was awesome.
I love it. And I loved how Philadelphia does Clearwater. I mean, it's the best. It really, people, they build their vacations around it. It's a great place. And you know better than anybody because you've been all over Florida, Arizona. Clearwater's a gem. I remember having to cover the Mets and having to be in Port St. Lucie, which was horrible. All right.
I was there at Port St. Lucie for 2 years. Yeah, it was. I had to stay all the way down in Jupiter to enjoy it.
Yes.
I had to drive up for 45 minutes to get there.
They had like one place to go, the ale house. Like it was like it was.
Yeah, there wasn't much there in PS. Not a lot there at PSL. When they got a Starbucks, it was like, whoa.
Clearwater's the greatest. I mean,
it's great, man. There's so many choices, so many places to eat, so many places to hang, so many bars, and it's just they continue to build, and I know they got beat up by those two storms and hurricanes, but they bounced back really nicely, man. I was surprised. I was at the Palm Pavilion the other day, and Frenchie's Saltwater Cafe, and they've opened up, and they're rolling again. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Hey, so you can speak to this better than anybody, all right? Because you presided over championship contenders, really good teams. I was having that conversation with people, and I'm sensing a little like take it for granted, right? There's somewhat a little bit of malaise. And I think it's a gift when you have a contender. And I look at this team and I go, they're going to be right back in the playoffs. They're really good. They have a great rotation, top 3 rotation in baseball. I think there's a lot to be excited for again.
No question about it. And I know that the exit, having lost to the Mets, that hurt people. That hurt the fans in the heart, right? It hurts you in the heart. Obviously, getting knocked out and not getting to the finish line, right? For a team that was really talented. And I think this, having been around sports for a long, long time, Anthony, that you have to be playing your best baseball at the right time for you to have a chance to be a champion. That's exactly what the Eagles did. They progressed. They got better and better and better, and they were playing their best football at the end of the season. And so that's sort of what I think the Phillies are hoping will happen. They have the talent. There's no question in my mind it's a top 4 or 5 talent team, maybe even higher than that. It's the Dodgers and maybe the Yankees, and I think it's the Phillies. And I honestly, and they're sort of, Dodgers obviously have gone crazy, but you still have to play the games on the field. It doesn't necessarily mean that, in 2011, I thought we had the best team in baseball by a long shot, and we got knocked out of the playoffs by the St. Louis Cardinals, who happen to be playing the hottest baseball in the world. And sometimes that happens in the playoffs. And I think people, I hope that the fans of Philadelphia understand how good and how talented this team is. They have an MVP candidate in Turner, an MVP candidate in Harper. They have, possible MVP candidate in a guy like Schwarber. I mean, you got those 3 guys. Then you got Cy Young Award candidates in Wheeler. Nola's been up there for a while. He's as consistent as can be. You got great young left-handed pitchers in the rotation. Might be the best and deepest rotation in all of baseball. And I'm not trying to be like a Phillies apologist, but when people say, hey, they didn't do anything in the offseason. Well, when you pick up a guy like Luzardo, who's got an unbelievable arm,
I love
you get Kepler. You get Kepler, who's going to give them a little bit more offense in left field. And you bring Romano into the scene. Now, I do have some questions. To be honest, I got some questions about the bullpen, but that's every year. You just don't know whether, and there's no lockdown bullpens every single year. That's the most volatile part of a team. And so you just don't know. You hope that Kerkering steps forward, and you hope that Alvarado pitches better, and you hope that a lot of things happen. But Romano's been a pretty solid, when he's healthy, as consistent a closer as there is. So they have some depth back there. Is it going to be good enough to win a World Series? Who knows? If they're playing, really good baseball during the time, and when they get there in October, then they got a shot. But they're definitely a contending team. They've got really, really good players, and I think the Philly fans should not take that for granted. I think you said it at the beginning: is you don't take that kind of stuff for granted, because it's a quality ball club.
What I love about what Dombrowski's done, and you did this in the past, is you collect arms, right? Like you got, and Romano's got a great arm. Like he can stay healthy. I don't think people understand, because he pitched in Toronto, and nobody's watching that. He's got a great arm. He's got great stuff. They have great arms in that pen.
Yeah, there's no question. Romano's got a great arm, and he was really consistent in 2022 and 2023. Before he had that little elbow issue, he was really consistent. He's a guy that can lock down, the ninth inning. Now, is he going to be that guy every single time out? Probably not. I think Topper's going to utilize, the right matchups for that right situation. I do believe, in my heart of hearts, that at some point Kirkering's going to step forward and be that guy. I think he's got the demeanor to do it. I think he's got the stuff to do it. And he's not afraid. He'll get after it. I look back at some of the numbers of some of the guys that pitched last year. Strom's numbers were ridiculous. I mean, his WHIP was 0.75 or something like that. His ERA was below 2. He was in the ones. I mean, there's some guys who had some very, very good years. Now, are they going to have that same year after year? Who knows? But they have the arms to do it, whether they're confident enough and whether they get in a role enough, whether Alvarado can get his confidence back, who knows?
Hey,
but if he can, he's going to be. It's good. It's got some depth. It's got some power back there.
Yeah. What do you think with Alvarado? Like, it's funny. I thought the one mistake, and it's hard. Like when you're in a series go back to the World Series against Houston, he got a little exposed, right? Like 4 times he pitched in that series. And sometimes when you see a guy with that kind of frequency, and he kind of hasn't been right since then, is that confidence, Rube?
Yeah, I think, listen, just like for any other athlete, I view guys who are in the bullpen who are pitching in the 7th, 8th, and 9th when it's really important. I view those guys as like place kickers, right? They're sort of like place kickers. You don't really notice them until they screw up. And then when they do, they have to have the ability to be like a goldfish, right? You got to forget about it and bounce right back out there and come back and get after it. And I think the guys that are the best ones can do that consistently. Now, Alvarado's still working through that. I think when he has a tough outing, he doesn't have his confidence. He'll struggle some. But when he does, I mean, if you look back on, I think it was 2023 when he had like the first half of that season.
Oh, yeah.
He was the best reliever in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't touch him.
Yeah.
And I think he's got to get to that, get back to that, obviously. And hopefully he gains that confidence. He looks great. He's lost some weight. He's in really good shape, which typically happens when guys come into spring training. But he's an important piece. There's no question about it. And all the guys in the bullpen are important. Yeah. They become more and more important as the season rolls on. But I got to believe that if there's a glaring issue that the Phillies have, they're going to address it. Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton and their ownership group and their front office, they're not afraid to address issues when they have to deal with them.
No, I mean, look, and I think it's smart. You go into it, like you could always address outfield around the deadline. So you can look at it and see what you got, see how Morris is going, see what you got with Rojas, obviously Kepler. So if you need to address it, you got the All-Star break. You got the trade deadline. And same thing with the bullpen. You can grab an arm. To me, it comes down to Turner, right? Like you mentioned him at the top. Like if he's the engine that he should be, and if he bats leadoff, that you got now, that's the guy that propels you forward. That whole lineup has that little tweak that makes it potent again. Consistent.
No question about it. I mean, I think I think Rob Thompson's, he's a little bit more open-minded. And I think there's a couple of things happening here. I think that they're going to try to urge Turner. Hopefully he'll be healthy. Like I think about like the end of 2023 after like the crowd like got his back. At the end of 2023, his numbers were ridiculous. In the beginning of 2024, before he pulled his hamstring and was out for a month, even longer than that, when he was out for a while, if you take those numbers, they were MVP. The first half and the last half of 23 and the first half of 24, he might have been the best baseball player in baseball. You take those numbers, and he was phenomenal. He had MVP type numbers. I mean, he had a OPS of like over 1,000, I think, or close to 1,000. I mean, it was unbelievable the numbers he was throwing up there. And it would seem like he was more reluctant to run after he came back from that hamstring injury. I think it's important for him to be able to do that, number one, and to get back to who he was, utilizing the entire field, not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, become a 300 hitter. I remember talking to Charlie Manuel. I said, why is Jim Thome such a productive player now? He said, because we try to make him hit 300, and all the other stuff, the home runs, the extra base hits, the RBIs will come. And I think that's sort of the goal and should be the mindset of a guy like Turner, because if he hits 300, then his on-base percentage obviously is going to be higher. He's going to make better decisions. He's going to use the whole field, and his overall production, scoring runs, driving in runs, stealing bags, those will automatically go up. And I mean, he's still that guy. He hasn't changed. He just has to get back to being that guy again.
How was Bohm? Did you talk to him? I mean, what's his mindset? Bohm and Stott, obviously, are a big deal.
No question about it. I think Stott, it's now been documented that Stott had that elbow problem, and it got him into some habits where he was not staying on top of the ball, not hitting the ball on the line, and then he was trying to, start trying to feel through it, and then he started trying to hit home runs to try to catch up.
Didn't it look like he was dropping his elbow?
It looked like he was working underneath the baseball. I remember 2 years ago, he said, hey, man, I'm not getting my top hand into my swing. And he started doing that in the second half of, 2023, and had a really nice year. And that's why I thought he was going to really propel himself in 2024. I thought he was going to have a chance to be like, make a run for, batting title, because I think, he's got a good idea of the strike zone. He runs well. He uses the other side of the field. Well, he didn't do that all that well last year. And I think a lot of it had to do with that front elbow, where he could not, it's different type of a swing when you're favoring it. And he's healthy now, which is huge. And you asked about Bohm. I did not get a chance to see him because I was only there in Clearwater for a short period of time. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I talked to the coaching staff and the manager. And they say he's come in with a great attitude, very mature. I mean, listen, it's a game of adjustments, man.
Yeah.
And it just seems like, I think when he was not having success, he looked like he was, didn't handle it all that well. And I think that, just like we were talking about in baseball, there's so much negativity. You're out so many times. There's so many times that things don't work out, that you have to be able to manage that negativity. And I think hopefully that's something that he's learned, and something that he'll grow through. And because, listen, as far as being like a pure hitter, other than Harper, I don't know that there's a better pure hitter than Bohm, because he can use the whole field. He's still learning how to drive the ball out of the ballpark, which is not all that important to me, but I guess it's important to others. It's about driving in runs. I think the second half, his hand and the fact that he didn't handle some of the negativity after the All-Star game, he didn't, handle that, that last part of the season all that well. Hopefully he's matured through that. Hopefully he understands what he has to do to be the best player he can be. And he's got a lot of ability, man. He's a kind of guy that, I trust. He's a trust guy for me in the middle of the lineup, because I trust him to drive in the run. I trust him to pick up that 2-out RBI. He's one of the best.
Yes.
He's been one of the best for the Phillies for years doing that. And he's the type of player that they really need, the guy that can make contact when they need to, when they have to put the ball in play, and can impact the baseball when you have to have it.
My only one of the few concerns is JT at 34. How do you manage that? What makes him so special is that he's such a great catcher, but you can't. At 34, you just don't want to wear him out.
Yeah, no question about it. And listen. This is crazy, man. When the first day I walked into the complex, we're walking down, and they have this area right outside where their weight facility is, and right outside there's like an outdoor that has an awning over it, and it's like an agility area. I'm watching him do Tai Chi. He and Castellanos working with this Tai Chi guy, and I go up to JT and I look at him like, oh my God, this guy looks like a god. I mean, he looks like an Adonis. I mean, he puts himself. He's such a great athlete as it is.
Yeah.
Great wrestler, great football player. He did a lot of different things as a kid, but just a great overall athlete. And he's the kind of guy who wants to play every day. Now, I know they've talked about the possibility to toss him out in left field from time to time, or maybe DHing him, whatever, when he has a day off. But I think, just like anybody else, as you get older, Father Time is undefeated. So you have to just make sure that you try to keep him on the field. If you look at his numbers and what he did last year, when he hurt his knee, and they didn't talk about it a lot, and he tried to play through it. After he hurt his knee, I mean, he struggled. And
he did.
Listen, if you don't have your lower half in baseball, if you don't have your lower half and you don't have your hands, man, you're screwed.
You're screwed. You can't stride.
And so you can't. There's a lot of things you can't do in your lower half, especially as a catcher. Obviously,
yeah.
If you're not confident, you don't feel good about your lower half. Right now, he's in great shape. I think that it'll be a great battle between Stubbs and Marshawn as to who's going to be that backup. I have a feeling that Marshawn might have the upper hand just because he's out of options. You got to be selfish as an organization. You might have to send Stubbs back. All these things have a way to working themselves out, but I do believe that Marshawn, if he can stay healthy, is a really good catcher. I mean, he's really good.
I'm with you. How do you handle this? Is interesting to me, and then I want to ask you about slug ball. But how do you handle a popular player in the clubhouse? Like you got like Stubbs, who was the vibes guy, right? How do you, as the GM, understanding how important the room is, but knowing that he's not the best player, right, in that role? How do you handle that?
Listen, I think that the guys understand ultimately that this is not just a game, and it is a business. And sometimes you have to be selfish as an organization, okay? When you don't have a whole lot of depth in one area, particularly in catching, it's like having a quarterback, right? The quarterback is. I still think that the quarterback and/or the catcher is the most important position on the field because they handle so many things, and they're so important. I really do believe that the catching position is the most important position on the field. Now, if that person and you don't have depth in that area, you got to keep as much depth as you can. So if the guy doesn't have an option and you stand a chance to lose the guy, I mean, who becomes the catcher if they lose Marshawn to the waiver wire, or they have to trade him or whatever, have to designate him, and they got Stubbs and JT, and somebody goes down? Now what? Now what do you do? I mean, so as an organization, you have to be selfish. And if being selfish is to keep everybody and keep all your assets and have to send a guy like Stubbs down, then that's just part of the game. And I think the people in the clubhouse understand that. I think that, Stubbs is an important part of the team. And the fact that he's not part of if he is not part of the team, he's catching in Lehigh Valley, I think that people know that he's still there. And, if there's a need, and the way Marshawn's going over his career, they may very well need him at some point. So it's not that difficult. It's a difficult decision. It's not that difficult a decision when it comes to, okay, this is the best thing we can do for the organization.
So tell us, VG, Rube's got a whole new thing he's doing.
What's he got?
Sounds awesome.
All right, let's
slug ball.
Slug ball.
Yeah, tell everybody about it. This sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty fired up about it. A bunch of guys from the Philadelphia area sort of came up with this idea. Tennis has pickleball. There's 3v3 basketball. There's all types of different things that people can do other than the normal sports. So for me, it's baseball reimagined. You're basically taking it. It's a 4-on-4 competition with your buddies or your friends or guys that you used to play with in high school or college or whatever, and you get together with them and you basically compete against another team, and it's a situational hitting competition. And not everybody can hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's just not going to happen. And I think that part of the game that's been sort of overplayed. So my feeling is that, like, I think it's a cool thing to be able to, first of all, hitting's the best part of playing baseball, right?
Right.
I mean, nobody gives a crap about the rest of it. I mean, it's really about, I mean, once you're done, playing high school ball or whatever, I mean, it's all about the hitting. It's all about having the bat in the hand. Then I think that we've created a game that is fast paced. It's competitive. You have to have a skill set. And I think it's a cool thing. You hit the ball the other way, up the middle, to the pull side, and you have to do it sort of on demand, and you accumulate points. But you play against another team in a tournament type setting, and got a chance to make a little money while you're doing it. I think it's just a fun thing for people to do.
What's the field like?
So it's a basic, major league field or minor. We're going to be starting her up in minor league fields, and hopefully at some point we'll expand the footprint. But we start off in minor league stadiums, and you basically break it up into 3 parts. So there's 4 different hitting competitions within the game. So within 30 seconds, you have a certain number of swings to hit the ball. The first round, for instance, you have to hit the ball the other way or to right field on a line, and you get points, accumulate points. And you have to have a good batting practice pitcher. So the guy that's on your team better be able to throw some BP, because it's live BP. It's not a machine.
Oh, I love that.
So that's part of it too.
Yeah.
That's part of it too. So so you can get 6 to 8 guys on the team, but only 4 will hit and 1 will pitch. And so, you basically start off first round is usually hitting the ball the other way. You have to hit it on the line. And we have flags and, things set up so that, and then we have umpires who will tell you whether the guy had success doing it, guy or girl. If girls are invited too. But you start off to the right side, then you hit the ball up the middle, and then to the pull side. And then there's a round where you have to go in succession, right, center, left.
Wow.
And you have to be able to complete that task before you go to the next one. You only, get 30 seconds per round to get this done. So your batting practice pitcher's got to be efficient. He's got to throw strikes,
He's got to work quick. Talk about a pitch clock.
Got to work quick. Yeah, listen, each game, each competition will take probably right around 30 minutes. And you just roll right into it. It's fast paced. You have a beer in between rounds. You hang out with your boys, and we just think it's a fun thing. Now people can watch. There's people can pay to come in and watch if your family's involved or whatever. And there's food and there's beverages and all types of stuff. But we really think it's a cool thing for people, because when you think about it, when you're finished playing like high school baseball or college baseball or whatever, even professional baseball, a lot of guys playing in independent leagues, there's nowhere to play baseball. What do? You go to a cage and just hit the ball in the cage. There's no real competition there. You're just hitting the baseball, or you play softball. This is baseball. And so for me, we just felt like this is a cool way to be able to continue to play something that you really liked as a kid. I think the demographics, there's probably like 3 million people who have either done, played high school baseball or college baseball, and between the ages of maybe 22 and 40 or 50 in this day and age, or maybe even 60. But I think that we've tested it out. It's been cool. People have loved it. That's the only place that you can really, compete to do this. Yeah, we think it's going to be. It's got a chance to be really fun. We know it's going to be fun for people. Hopefully, it hits, and we can sort of expand it.
So
pretty excited.
As a team, you hit off your own pitcher. You bring your own batting pitcher.
You bring your own batting practice pitcher. So the team is comprised. You can have 6 to 8 people there, and then you can choose. Like certain guys have different skill sets, right? So you can only use 4 hitters in that round. And, some guy might be a better pull hitter. Some guy might be able to utilize, it's about handling the bat. And I think Kenny Lofton is a guy that's sort of helping us sponsor, helping us. He's one of our ambassadors. And we thought he'd be a great addition to us because, we're trying to get away. As an old school guy, trying to get away from home run derbies. That's not necessarily baseball. Okay. home run derbies are great if you want to do it in the All-Star game and all that stuff. But I think that there's a skill set that's associated with handling the bat, right? Being able to manipulate the barrel and to be able to hit the ball in certain areas. And I think baseball is trying to get back to that, model, because that creates more action, more fun on the field. And I think it's a skill set and an art. And I think that's really the basis behind it. And not everybody can hit a home run. I mean, it's hard to hit home runs. Yeah. And I think that this gives people a chance in different skill levels to be able to hone that skill. And, who knows? Maybe it'll hit like pickleball and,
I think it's fun. I think it's a great idea.
Top golf and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes.
I love it. How do people get involved? Like if they want to learn more?
Well, they can register. Yeah. So they grab your team. You can register. It's playslugball.com, where you can go online. We are on Twitter and I guess what used to be Twitter, X. We're on Instagram at Slugball, and it's SLUGGBALL. And give yourself a chance. You can register. Right now we have 6 places where 6 competitions that are set up so far. One's going to start in May, I think May 10th. The first one in Trenton. You can sign up for that. I don't think it's sold out yet. We have a couple going on in the Ohio area. Got one in Staten Island going on. So, you can jump on the website at playslugball.com and register your team and compete, man. Have some fun.
I love it. You got to do one in Atlantic City at that surf ball park. Down the shore, people go nuts. You'd sell that out.
We are looking at a couple different venues. We want to sort of start off with a modest footprint, see how it goes, work through it, and then hopefully we'll expand to a bunch of different places.
I love it, man. I think it's great. Best of luck with it, brother. Can't wait.
Appreciate
this is it. Baseball's back, man. We got you back.
It's back, baby.
Love it, Rube. You're the man, brother.
Great to see you, Anthony, man.
Always Thanks, a pleasure, man. You're the best. We love you. There he is, Ruben Amaro. Slug ball. I'm down with that. That looks like fun.
So he looked great. His frames were great. He looked jacked in that shirt. I mean, I know you're gonna bust my stones, but man, Rube looked good today. Looking fit, fashionable.
Phillies baseball, and he's going.
The lineup today is a little weird. You see the lineup?
I didn't. I mean, I was too busy listening to you talk about fashion.
Where is your headspace
of our guests?
Well, when I was looking up new frames and stuff, they're going Trey Turner, Schwarber, Harper.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I do. I like Schwarber in the 2-hole.
You do?
I do, because I could see it. You could see 2-0. Like you're going to see 2-0 a lot,
as often as you see 1-0, right?
Yeah.
I just think I like him in the 2 spot.
Yeah. I guess
my only worry is would Bryce want to hit cleanup? Because you do have to worry about
a 3-hitter.
You have to worry about stacking the lineup, the lefties.
I know. He told you he's a 3-hitter.
I know.
And then there's the whole analytics. If he's the 4-hitter, it's so many less at bats per game.
I know. I know. I mean, you would want him hitting second, I guess, and then you could have Schwarber hit 4th, is what kind of they were talking about.
Yeah.
But there's something about the pure power of Schwarber in the 2 spot that I like. Now, I don't know. Do you go 2 and 3 and lefty? Is it that big a deal? You know what I mean?
I don't think with those guys. They're established professional hitters. I think you're okay with those 2.
Yeah.
Hoping hopefully it was just that home run derby and he gets his mojo back.
Yeah.
He was a mess after the second half of the season.
I gotta believe. I'm hoping. I gotta believe that. All right. A couple things. One, we're waiting for Kyle McCord from Syracuse and of course St. Joe's Prep and Mount Laurel, and we love him, a local kid. I'm really rooting for him. I think he's a hell of a quarterback, man. I think he's going to be a pro. I mean, a real. I think he's going to be a starting quarterback in this league, and I'm really rooting for him. Great kid, great family. He got pulled into a meeting. He's in Indy, and we want to follow him through his journey of the draft. So we'll keep you abreast as to when Kyle can join us because he's there. We may have to tape him after the show, play tomorrow, depending on what happens. But let's talk about some of our sponsors.
Let's do it. TrueMark
Kelly.
Financial Credit Union, Kelly Body. They're here to help you out. That's all
Do you
they
analyze
do.
Kelly's fashion? She's sharp.
Yeah, she looked great when she was in here with that sweater. Of course. So TrueMark, all they do is help people out, whether it's kids with good
Amazing how you are
programs.
such a fashionista.
Yeah, look at me. Come on, bro. TrueMark Financial Credit Union. They're here to help you out, man. You got a bunch of credit card balances from all that holiday shopping, from the playoff run, the Super Bowl, from Valentine's Day. They're here to help you out. What if you could pay it off faster and with zero interest until 2026? Well, it's true because TrueMark Financial is offering zero interest on balance transfers for 12 months. So all your payments can go toward reducing your balance, not just covering that annoying interest. So here's how you do it. Transfer your existing balance from another institution to a TrueMark Financial credit card and take advantage of this amazing offer. But you got to hurry because you have till the end of this month, which is 2 days away. So get on it. Whether you're interested in earning rewards, cash back, or simply prefer a low rate for everyday purchases, with TrueMark Financial, you can choose a credit card that best fits your needs. Visit TrueMark.com/compare for full details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, they're federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to approval. 3% balance transfer fee applies. Standard rates apply after the promotional rate.
All
we
right.
got our friends over at Ace.
Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
Yeah.
Right to your front door.
Right at the door. And I love this. Is another organization just helping you out through stressful times. Because
Well, especially when you don't know him. Like you and I
Me
think are
and you.
similar when it comes to around the house stuff.
I got to hire someone to set
I
up.
think Andrew, are you good at that? You have that skill?
Yeah.
I knew you did.
Yeah.
He's got that skill.
Of course.
Yeah.
Joey has no skill when it comes to that stuff.
It doesn't mean are you good at it?
Really? Are you good at that?
I love doing it. I love, my mom asked me to do stuff around the house. So hammer and stuff.
It's a
Really?
project
I
man.
did
Yeah.
not. Because your father's not.
Yeah, no.
No, your father would. I can't imagine him with a hammer in his hand. Unless he was going to hit somebody with it.
It's like tool time in that corner over there.
Yeah, those guys know it.
They
All
built-
right, we got projects at the Gargano house.
Anything you need, I'll help you out.
So if you don't have an intern who's handy and you need a guy or a person, Ace Hardware Home Services is there for you. So you got a leaky pipe at Ace Hardware Home Services. They're around the block with everything you need to fix it, including the right people to do the fixing. Air conditioning issue, get it looked at now. It's warming up. They got people for that. Got a faucet you'd fixed last fall but still have it. They got a person for that too because they're not just the helpful hardware folks. They're also the helpful home service and repair folks. From plumbing to heating and cooling, they've got trusted pros to keep your house humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services. We're bringing the helpful home, the helpful you love from the store now to your front door. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next home project.
There you go. Ace is the place. All right. I don't know what I'm most excited about.
Today's a great day. Chris
Actually-
Sanchez, the Flyers, Nick telling people
I'll
it's
be honest
insulting at
with
the
you,
combine.
I am in a good mood.
Yeah, how could you not today?
I don't know why.
What do you
it's
mean?
not.
It's like
The
50
weather.
degrees in the morning.
Maybe that's
The
what it
weather's
is.
also nice.
But
Beautiful
honestly, so I have to drive Anthony to the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
At 6:30, we have to leave at 6:35. All right.
Oof.
Yeah. And
So when I'm hitting the snooze alarm.
yeah, it's brutal,
I'm
right?
already up.
So not only, I got to get up and I got to get him, and we got to make sure because it's a bus that goes to St. Augustine, which is like 45 minutes from the house. So you got to make the bus. Bad enough, my wife has to pick him up every day after school.
Why? No bus back?
Well, not when you play sports. So he's got
Oh,
football,
yeah.
and now he's
Oh,
rowing.
man, he should be catered and pampered as an athlete.
No
So-
after hours bus?
No.
Wow.
Oh man, that stinks.
So it stinks for the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So we got to, usually it's on her. She goes and picks him up. So, but I got to take him to the bus stop, make sure that, he's there. So usually I get up at whatever, 5:45 every day. And then if I'm not up all night writing, and I go and start the car because it's been so freaking cold in the morning.
Brutal.
Like,
Yeah.
I got to start the car. This way it comes in. It's a warm car.
Trashed my battery. I had to get a battery Saturday. I went to go over to my parents.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, cold weather. I was having trouble starting it, and then just
You
crapped
said
out.
that about it.
Yeah, Friday. I almost got stuck on my way here on Friday morning.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
need a new
It's
battery.
been horrible. And maybe that's it because spring is around the corner.
Mhm.
I don't think we're done with snow, I guess.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, March
Like-
is
There
on
not be any
Saturday.
more.
What's that?
There better not be any more snow.
Once in a while, there's a threat in the middle of the month. Usually it's like a wet snow that comes and is gone
Yeah.
if it happens. But I'm looking, I see, good temps. So that's got me feeling good.
Yeah.
I actually feel like football's back a little bit with the combine and then the draft. So I'm enjoying that. I'm loving the Flyers.
Yeah.
And as soon as they start to really, like, today's like, you start to play games in spring training, which is great. And then the season starts early. Like, come the
It
end of
does start
March, was it March 26th or 8th is the first
I'm
game.
not a fan of these March starts, but
I am. The quicker, the better. The only thing I would say is schedule them in domes or in temperate climates.
Don't make me go out to a game in this weather. Let's see.
Well,
Nice start out.
You begin in the cold and you end in the cold.
I like
March,
That's
March
baseball.
27th.
I like to begin in the chilliness and end in the chilliness.
March 27th. There you go.
That's opening day. March
Opening
27th.
day. Baseball.
Yeah, I got my
We
tickets.
got a
I'll be there.
game. We have a game Saturday, an exhibition game.
You guys have a baseball exhibition game this Saturday?
Yeah.
What's that weather like?
It's going to be nice. Now, the only thing is,
62.
it's
Oh,
perfect.
beautiful.
Now, the only bad thing is we got basketball playoffs.
All right.
So we may have to miss depending on when there are 4 slots for the playoffs.
You have a slot?
Yeah, we're in.
You're definitely in?
No, yeah, we're
Okay.
among the top. In fact, we got a game tomorrow night against a team that's unbeaten. The
Oh,
only team in the
man.
league, Christ the King, unbeaten.
Oh, you've been talking about this Christ the King
Yeah,
revenge
they're
matchup.
good. Yeah, they're good.
I might have to come out and see this one.
Right? So we play them tomorrow night. But I don't know. Listen, the playoffs start Saturday. So quite frankly, I don't know if I want to show them much.
Oh,
The
yeah.
game
You're
doesn't
gonna
really mean anything.
rope-a-dope them a little
That
bit?
is true. Yes.
So I may not show them anything.
Not open up the whole playbook?
No, I mean, listen. What does it matter? We're going to the playoffs start, and
So-
it's going to go through them anyway.
You're already set? Like you're where you're at? Or
Well, I gotta look at the
like you want to
standings,
play
but
them in
we're-
a championship game? Not
We're
the-
a couple. Yeah, we're there's like them, and then there's 3 other teams that are all bunched up, including
right.
us.
But you don't want to come in fourth and play them first round.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You might have to win.
We have to figure it out, but I don't want to show much, man.
You don't want to just annihilate them and ruin their confidence and shake them before the playoffs start?
I don't think they can
Make
be
a
shaken.
statement.
I don't think.
It's
no,
a
I don't think-
powerhouse?
Well, they're good, really good squad. But anyway, we got them on Saturday. All right, we got the playoffs on Saturday, and then we got we have a doubleheader against the Delco.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Delco.
man.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
What did Coach Jim say?
Delco what?
Let me look on my
the
game
Delco
sheet.
Destroyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the. Let me look for Coach Jim on game.
Delco
Changer.
PBRs.
Yeah, yeah, right. They started 12U, baby. They started 12U. It's the Delco Diamonds.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's diamonds.
Yeah, Delco Diamonds. So we play at Ridley Park.
Oh, that's not too far from me. I'm going to take a ride out there if the weather's nice.
Yeah, so but I don't know. It all depends on the basketball because the basketball comes first, playoffs. This is exhibition. So
It's a hostile environment on the road going to Delco, Ridley Park
I
area.
know. If we win Saturday, we play again Monday. And then if we win Monday, we play again Friday.
All right.
So I already got the practice. Like, I got practice schedule on Sunday. Like, if we win, we got practice Friday night, mandatory.
Of course, right? It's got to be mandatory.
Mandatory practice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hear no excuses.
Yeah.
All right? Like, this is it.
Tell Tab to leave you alone. You're focused.
Yes.
You're watching film.
Yes. Yes. Leave me alone. All right?
It's playoff time.
It's playoffs. Yeah. Yesterday, I did have him throwing. We went to the field.
The football or the baseball?
Football.
Football?
Yeah. We were throwing.
What do you want? You want to be a baseball dad or a football? You want to be a football dad?
I mean, dude. Listen.
If he's playing D1, you want it to be baseball or football? Football.
Like, honestly, I want to keep it as live as long as possible. But come on, if he's going to be a quarterback, what do you want? What do you think I want? I mean, listen. I would love for him to play baseball.
Yeah.
But and I love being a baseball dad. I love baseball. Quarterback.
Yeah.
Quarterback's
cool.
It's just something about it, right?
Yeah.
Something about the swag of being a quarterback at, Ohio State, Syracuse, like Kyle.
Yeah.
I love that. Like there's another kid, the kid at the prep now, Charlie Folk.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie is a sophomore, right?
It's crazy they wanted with a sophomore quarterback.
Right? He just finished. The offers are coming in.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
All right. North Carolina.
Belichick?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Done. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. Belichick offered him. Who else? Just Miami.
Ooh.
Miami just offered him. Like,
big.
Would you send your kid to Miami? That's a tough place to
I'm not sending my
stay
son to
focused.
Miami. No.
That's a tough place to be focused.
No, well, Charlie's a good kid.
Moss in Miami could be trouble.
As a
quarterback down there?
Yeah, no, he's going to Nebraska.
Cold weather city. Cold weather college.
He's gonna go play for
Stay indoors.
Coach Rule. Yeah. He's gonna be in Nebraska.
Yeah, that'd be a wise move.
Nothing around him but cornfields.
That's it. Maybe Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe like that. But he ain't playing anywhere there. But Charlie's like one of these kids. Like this is what these kids today. This is something I want to talk to Kyle about. I don't think we realize the amount of work that they put in.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of work is insane. So Charlie they win the championship, the prep, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the next day, or actually that weekend, he's throwing. He does his workouts.
Yeah.
Like they work out 6 days a week.
It's nuts. They got individual instructors. They work out with their schools. They got individual coaches and
and with how early
workout
on,
people.
With how early on kids are seen now and scouted, I mean, you got to be getting into everything right off the bat. You have to always put the work in all the time.
Hard. Listen, like in fact, his father was telling me the story. It's a great story. He wakes up every day at like 5 o'clock in the morning. He's at school by 5:30.
What?
Yeah, I'd say he lives in Jersey. He's in school. He's at the prep.
The building's open?
I mean,
what?
They do workouts. They do class. Then they do workouts again. Then he watches film, and he's home at 9.
That's a crazy day,
right? Like, so you're doing your homework.
Yeah.
You're doing your schoolwork and your homework. You're working out twice, and you're watching film.
And then rinse, repeat.
Every day.
Yeah.
No way I could ever do that at like 16 or 15.
Like, could you imagine like the discipline to do that as that kind of athlete? That's where it's almost like Olympic athletes. Like you read the stories of the gymnasts, right? You read these stories of these Olympic athletes.
Yeah, we had the rower on.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Like it's so important. Like they have to eschew any personal life. Like I don't know. Like, is that healthy? Not healthy? The social life is really. But look what it does. It sets you up in life.
Yeah, it gets you. It will get him a college scholarship, so free education.
Well, not anymore.
I'll get some dimes.
Well, a lot of dimes now. Dime now.
Yeah.
Like now it's different. Now you get
right.
Big money.
But that's where you got to be in anything that's competitive like that. I mean, acting,
like they didn't
all that
age it.
stuff.
Like he didn't like Charlie's going to, the agent work out which school.
God.
Like it's all great that Belichick's offering you a deal, but you got Miami. If you already have North Carolina, Miami, what's next?
Yeah, if
Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, like you name it, they're all going to be coming looking at it, offering you a deal.
It's wild too because then they bring in multiple quarterbacks, right? So just because you're there doesn't mean you're the.
Well, it all depends. You have to negotiate the deal.
Because Kyle K, when he was at Ohio State, would they have another quarterback there when he was there?
Yes, but he was the starter. I didn't like the way they handled him.
Yeah.
At the end, I think he got, and I'm not gonna, I wouldn't bring it up to him, but I think he got scapegoated. I think Ryan Day scapegoated him because he lost to Michigan, right? And got news for you, he lost to Michigan again this year.
Yeah, he did.
Right? Listen, God bless. They were a talented team, and they won the national championship. But you know what? I think they lost to Michigan and they scapegoated Kyle. I don't think it was right.
Right.
I think it was fair. He went to Syracuse. He had a monster year.
Oh, he changed that program.
Oh my God, he was terrific. But this whole world, it's just a different world. I mean, the quarterback. There's a local kid from the prep who's at Cincinnati, right? Who was last year's starting quarterback, Samaj. He's a backup, but in his deal, like I think he gets compensated. This is Cincinnati. He gets like $300,000. Now you're the starter; it goes up to $1 million.
Wow, crazy Cincinnati.
That's insane,
right? Like that's again. But imagine this is lifetime. This is stuff that sets you up for life.
Yeah,
you're cashing $300,000 a year for 4 years or 5 years in college. You're not in debt. You're now investing that, and you now have a cushion in life. So if you want to do something and follow your dreams, that's creative and that doesn't make money, like sports media, you're good, right? Like you're good to do that.
Yes,
you're funded.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
You can also do this much longer. In pro sports, you're a veteran at 35. Then you have all your life after that. So starting young and getting into it, it's beneficial.
It's a weird thing because it's a whole trade-off. Like I don't know, there's a lot of fun you have in high school.
Yeah,
you got to trade out. You got to give that up a lot of it.
But if you're committed
to commit to this,
but what's weird now? Nowadays, it's completely different. Now, Joey is the youngest of the crew. Joe, how old are you? 26. So, you remember high school, which I don't, and VG doesn't. Andrew barely does. Now, like, I look at my kids. Well, Anthony, who's a freshman, the bulk of his social time is on video games. Like, they get together once a month or once every couple of weeks, but really it's video games, they hang out.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because I went to the mall, the Morristown Mall the other day, and I was just saying kids just don't hang out at the malls and stuff. Like when I was little, I used to just go to the mall with my friends and stuff. And then in
well,
high
you would
school,
skateboard, right?
Yeah, but it was
I met the pagan at the mall.
Nowadays, I kind of
you were a mall rat.
I don't know.
No, it's weird. It's different. Like, honestly.
But Joey's a guy who's outside. He's skating. He's not a video game guy.
Yeah. What do normal kids do that don't have hobbies like that, I don't know, where they just walk around.
Well, you're 26. Like, the generation, it's changed dramatically in 8 years. COVID changed, which did a huge disservice to kids, right? Oh, yeah. But just the hanging out piece of it.
Yeah, a lot more kids are homebodies now. They don't really like to go out. They stay on their video games. They do a lot of that.
So all right, they're not all they're sacrificing is video games. Fine.
Well, no, I wasn't saying it in that respect.
But I think you are. That's my realization. I thought they were sacrificing, hanging out at the park, listening to some music,
drinking a
little beer here and there. Yeah. Having some fun times and laughing. That's what I thought they were missing out.
That's right. Somebody said about that Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
As a parent, I'll never watch that show.
Oh, no.
All right? I don't want to watch that. All right?
It's messed up. I watched that show.
Did you?
It's messed up.
Yeah, as a
What they have to
parent,
go
I
through.
want nothing to do with that show.
Yeah.
All right? I got news for you. Got nothing to do with it. That's for damn sight. All right. Tonight, Sixers and Knicks.
Yep, I like your bet. Knicks over 120.5.
That's what, if you're going to play it, right, I would do that. Because here's how I say it. The Sixers don't play any defense, nor do they care.
No, right? They don't care.
Nor do they have any pride, right? So couple all that together, what does that mean?
Lots of points.
It means points for the Knicks. Like, you think Josh Hart is going to go take it easy on them?
No, he's going to love this.
Right?
This is a chance to pad your stats.
Right.
Everyone's coming like, this is our time.
Like, Josh Hart is going to have 18 rebounds in the first half.
Yeah, but now it's fun, right? We'll bet Knicks tonight. Knicks team over.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Every bucket goes through. We're closer to a better draft pick.
Let me see. What is it? What is the big guy status?
Who, Joel?
Yeah. I'm
He's not
assuming
wounded.
He's not playing.
I'm assuming he's not.
Status is
But
wounded.
is he ruled out already? Let's see.
He's got to be.
Yes, he is ruled out.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you see him the other night with the big wrap around his ankle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
man.
ruled out. So you'll have Tyrese, Grimy Grimes, Oubre, Pinky Paul, and Drummond. By the way, Drummond's so big. Yabusele's out.
he had the big,
I love it.
He had the big zero
this
last
great
game.
roster that the EO puts together. Lowry 100 out. Gordon 100 out. Yabusele out. Oh God, it's just so
Yeah,
good.
I thought it was going to be an okay roster.
Yeah, thank God we have soccer tonight. A little Liverpool tonight. I'm not watching Sixers.
Tonight.
Well, today.
What do they play 2:00 in the morning?
Afternoon, 3:30.
Liverpool who?
Newcastle United.
What's your thoughts on that?
Who cares?
It's better than the Sixers.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not Serie A, but
Yeah.
No, like EPL's good. I don't know. What do I know about the soccer thing? I don't know. I just look at it tonight, college hoops, and I like Temple tonight.
Temple's due. If anyone's due, it's TU.
Well, I do. I like them. I do. I think, at this point, I think they win.
Can I bring a couple things? I just want.
Well, we only got time. We have to do our Right Aid Back in the Day moment.
All right, I got a good Right Aid Back in the Day moment. It's not Philadelphia related. It's just cool.
All right.
19. All right, let's get the
Do it.
music first. Yeah. We're going back, 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 back. We're going back, 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 back. We're going back, 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 back. Back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah! Weather's changing. I'm getting a little vibe of some outdoor activities. So I found this cool 1975 at the Masters.
Oh, wow.
Chichi Rodriguez and his caddy. And look at his caddy's look.
Wow.
His caddy rules, man.
I like Chi-Chi's hat, man.
Yeah, they both look fantastic at the
Wow.
Masters.
That's a great look.
Dude, that caddy rules.
The caddy looks like he's right out of American Gangster.
Yes,
Yeah,
dude.
it does.
Remember with Nicky Barnes?
Yeah.
It looks like he's part of Nicky Barnes' crew.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. It is fantastic. All right, that's going to do it for us. Great job, Andrew.
Andrew.
Great job, Joey. We'll keep you posted. Hopefully, we'll get Kyle either later today or tomorrow. And then all of our combine coverage continues throughout the day right here on PHLY. Keep it right here. We love you guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the morning.
Go Knicks.
We all silly like the mayor.